It was raining like the sky was mourning something no one else had noticed. Jason Bennett stood under the broken bus shelter, holding his 5-year-old son, Eli, in one arm and a tattered leather folder in the other. Inside that folder was his last printed resume, wrinkled, rain-stained, but still filled with hope. Hope that this job interview, at a downtown marketing firm, would finally be the break they needed. Rent was overdue, the fridge was nearly empty, and Jason's gas tank was running on more prayer than fuel. He adjusted his tie, a clip-on he'd found at Goodwill, and glanced down at Eli, who was wearing rain boots 2 sizes too big. "Just hang on, buddy," Jason whispered. "One good job, and things will change." The bus was late, again. Jason checked his watch. He had 25 minutes to get across town. He couldn't afford a cab, and the rain wasn't helping. His nerves were shot, but he was holding it together for Eli. Always for Eli. Then, from across the street, he heard it, soft at first, then unmistakably raw. A child sobbing. He looked over to see a little girl, maybe 8 or 9 years old, standing alone on the curb, soaking wet with no umbrella, her face buried in her hands. Her dress clung to her like a second skin. No adult in sight. Jason's heart clenched. He looked at his watch again. He could still make the interview. He could pretend he didn't hear her and keep walking. He could, but Eli was watching him. And Jason had vowed to teach his son to be a good man, not just through words, but action. "Stay right here," he told Eli gently, setting the folder in his son's lap and handing him the umbrella. "Daddy will be right back." He jogged through the rain toward the girl. "Hey, sweetheart," he said softly, kneeling down beside her. "Are you okay? Where's your mom or dad?" She looked up at him, mascara running down her cheeks, far too much makeup for a child that young. Her lip trembled. I lost my nanny," she said, her voice shaking. "She was on the phone, and I ran ahead. I turned the wrong corner. I don't know where I am." Jason looked around. This wasn't the kind of neighborhood for a girl like her to be alone. Her coat was designer, her boots polished, her hair braided with ribbons. Definitely from money. But in that moment, she looked small. Terrified. "What's your name?" Jason asked. "Emma," she sniffled. "Okay, Emma. I'm Jason, and that's my son Eli over there. Let's call someone you trust, all right?" She nodded and gave him a number. Jason fished his dying phone from his coat. 1% battery. He called. It rang twice. "Hello?" a panicked woman answered. "Hi, ma'am. My name's Jason. I found a girl named Emma. She's safe, but she's lost." "Where are you?" the woman interrupted. He gave the location. She cried in relief. "Please, stay with her. I'll send someone right away. Please don't leave." He sighed. The interview. His shot. But how could he walk away? He went back, hugged Eli close, and sat down on the wet curb between his son and Emma. They waited together in the rain. 20 minutes later, a sleek black SUV pulled up. A driver stepped out, then a woman in a tailored coat, her heels clicking on the sidewalk. "Emma," the woman cried. The little girl ran to her. "Mommy." Jason blinked. That was her mother? The woman knelt, hugging her daughter tightly, whispering apologies. Then she turned to Jason, eyes filled with tears and curiosity. "Thank you," she breathed. "Thank you so much." He shrugged, water dripping from his hair. "Couldn't just leave her. I'm a dad too." Her eyes fell on Eli, sitting on the curb, looking up at her with wide, innocent eyes. "Come with me," she said suddenly. "Both of you. Please. You're soaked." Jason hesitated. "I have an interview," well, had one. "Let me make you a deal," she said. "Come with me. Let me say thank you properly. If you're not glad you did, I'll drive you to every job in the city myself." Jason, unsure what else to do, nodded slowly. Inside the SUV, Emma sat beside Eli, holding his hand like they were old friends. Her mother watched Jason quietly from the front seat. They drove through winding hills and gated roads until they stopped in front of a mansion that looked like it had been lifted from a magazine. Jason's jaw dropped. Emma's mother introduced herself as Margot Ellison, founder and CEO of a luxury wellness brand. She brought them inside, gave Jason dry clothes from one of her staff, and served Eli a hot chocolate taller than his head. Jason sat on a plush couch, completely out of place. "You saved my daughter," Margot said, sitting beside him. "You missed your interview to help her." He nodded. "It's okay. There'll be others. My son needs to see what doing the right thing looks like." Margot tilted her head, impressed. "And what do you do?" "Marketing, branding, copywriting," he said. "At least. I used to. Got laid off 2 years ago. Been doing odd jobs since. Raising Eli on my own." She studied him for a long moment. Then she said something that changed his life. "I need a new head of branding. Someone who understands people, not just profits. Someone like you." Jason laughed, thinking it was a joke. She wasn't smiling. "I saw how you spoke to Emma. I saw how your son looks at you. That's leadership I can't train, it's who you are." He was speechless. Eli looked up at him, grinning. "Does that mean Daddy got a job?" he whispered. Margot smiled. "If he wants it." Jason's eyes burned. He nodded, too choked up to speak. The months that followed were nothing short of a miracle. Jason started working at Margot's company. He brought honesty, warmth, and creativity. He made friends. Found purpose. And every Friday, Emma and Eli played in the mansion's garden like siblings. Jason paid off his debts. Moved into a better apartment. Bought Eli a new backpack for school, and for the first time in years, didn't have to choose between groceries and gas. And through it all, he never stopped teaching Eli the same lesson: doing the right thing might not always be easy, but it will always be worth it. Because sometimes, what looks like a missed opportunity is really just life making space for something bigger.